My career started in creating content and visual arts just off of circumstance, really. I was going to St. John's University, and I met a young man by the name of Jermaine who ended up being J. Cole, and you know, we were just young kids grinding, trying to make an impression on the world. And what I understood at a very early age, and J. Cole as well, was that the music was only half the battle. You know, it was everything that accompanied the music is what made a real full artist. So working with him, we were just forced to have to create content, you know, and I found myself really comfortable in that space, and it just kind of grew from there. I came into the industry creating content for artists like Fab and Nas and Busta and the Clips, and you know, that was great, but you know, to me, true artistry and true success is having autonomy and be able to, you know, for me anyway, be able to conceptualize stories and see them through. You know, and when you work with artists, you know, however great it is, you're also making a product to promote an artist. You know, so an artist has a certain demographic and a certain way that things need to look and feel to promote to their fan base. Whereas when you do independent work, it's solely an extension of your creativity and your brain power. So, you know, as I evolved as an artist, that just felt more compelling and exciting to me. The reason why Story to Tell was concise is just, you know, for me, short stories should do that for you. Short stories should leave you wanting more. I think when you watch a feature film, you know, you want to leave the theater full. You know, you want to build conflict, build resolve, build character development, and work within 3 acts in a longer form. But when you're in short form, you should leave the theater, or, you know, when you're done watching, saying, damn, I wonder what happens next. And for me, that's what makes a good short film. So I find my inspiration in a lot of different places. I try to dedicate at least an hour a day to just consuming visual content. You know, whether it's, you know, still imagery or moving imagery, you know, whether it's Tumblr or Instagram or Vimeo or YouTube. I try to at a minimum dedicate an hour a day to just filling my brain and curating a certain aesthetic. And you know, I think what makes a good artist or just a creative person is your level of taste. So I curate this page called BAM Instagram. It could totally be a waste of time, I don't know. And the origin of BAM Instagram came from, I had a folder on my desktop called Inspiration, which, like I said, I dedicate an hour a day to just filtering through images and filtering through imagery. And as I was doing that, I started collecting these images. And I had this folder on my laptop that had, at the time, this was maybe in 2011 or 2012, which had maybe 10,000 images. And what I would do is I would always refer to this folder before writing a treatment or writing a pitch. And it eventually got to a place where people close to me knew about this folder, and they would always say, hey man, can I look at your inspiration folder as I'm about to write this treatment or I'm about to do this pitch? The interns would always come into my office and say, hey Aris, can we look at your folder? And it became kind of this inside thing within my inner circle. And I eventually got to a place of growth where I wanted to share my inspiration and I wanted to share my insight. So I have a lot of inspirations. As far as like forefathers, I love Gaudi, I love Frida, I love Frank Lloyd Wright, I love Kondo, I love Herring, I love Warhol. You know, I love those guys because they set a precedence for my generation, but I also love modern day artists. You know, I love Sharktooth, I love J.J. Abrams, I love Tarantino, I love Retina, I love so many artists. I mean, I'm so inspired by where we are today as a collective of artists. I think we're once again outputting the amount of creativity and originality that kind of set the precedence for us. I really love Snapchat. I think it's really cool. I love any place that allows a person to be creative without having to spend money. You know, that's one of my most favorite things about social media. I think there's a lot of bad things about social media, but one of the most positives, it's allowed Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat has allowed young, creative, talented people who normally wouldn't have an opportunity to showcase that talent. And that's what I love most about Snapchat, you know. And I know some people who are innovating the platform. They're not just using it to take photos and video. They're really telling short stories or finding great ways to transition throughout their day. You know, so I love Snapchat. I think it's cool. I think any place that you can sit and think of an idea and conceptualize it and refine it and put it out into the world, and you don't have to have a budget or overhead in order to do it, I think is a huge blessing. So yeah, visual arts and DJing to me is all one big hodgepodge. You know, I think it's just an extension of me being an artist. You know, I think that I think somewhere along the way from like the 70s and the 80s, when a lot of the more influential artists coming out of New York who were all multimedia artists, something got lost along the way where the people ahead of that generation, and even a part of that generation, kind of tried to convince my generation that you had to just focus on one thing. And I do think that there's a lot of benefit to doing that, but I'm also very inspired by the ability to wake up one morning and decide to be a DJ and do that and not have to ask anyone to do that, or not have to feel like I'm giving up on another dream that I have. I feel like it's all an extension into the next thing. When I make film, that's my characters, my conflict, my resolve. But when I play music, I'm finding a way to marry two songs that I love, but I didn't create those songs. You know, so there is a unique and original extension of myself in doing that. But film is probably a little bit more fulfilling only because it's completely from my heart, you know. I'm fortunate enough to do a lot of symposiums and speak at schools and universities. And how do I manage all that? I mean, I have a great team of people around me who kind of help me stay organized. So as far as like organizing it all, I'm very fortunate and blessed to have just a good team of people that work with me. But the reason why I do it is because it's very important to me to inspire the youth and inspire the generations after me to do things the right way. So it's important to me that I inspire the youth to do things the right way, to have a shot list, to have a storyboard, to have a treatment, to have a one sheet, to have a deck, so that way we can compete with the kids who might get out of college and get that great advertising job because of the school they went to or the family they come from. You know, there's a lot of talented kids who might not have that opportunity, but if they know how to do it the right way, they might have that opportunity. So it's very important for me to inspire and also let kids know that, you know, I didn't have an easy path, I just worked really hard. Yeah, so I don't really know where my career is going next. I mean, I know I want to make films. That's my ultimate goal. When I'm 50, 60 years old, I want to write and tell stories and direct stories. But there's a lot of things that inspire me. I love writing. I hope to write a book one day. I hope to, you know, go back to studying architecture. You know, I hope to paint more. You know, for me, true success is being able to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. You know, so, you know, I hope that I'm successful enough to cultivate a world where I can have my art studio next to my library, next to my photo studio, next to my office where I'm writing and pitching films, you know. You know, I can't say finitely what I want to do, but I think that's really beautiful. I think that's really beautiful. You know, I think what I'm focusing on now is building a legacy and building a repertoire and a portfolio that shows that I care about everything I do, no matter what it is. So if I wake up tomorrow and I'm inspired to become a fisherman, I can do that, you know, and I will do it as well as I can do it. So yeah, my only goal is to stay inspired, keep inspiring people around me, and keep creating content to add to the conversation. That's really my goal.